Okay, so I'm here today with John Huddleston, who has written a book, and I believe it's called The Spiritual Destiny of America and the Achievement of World Peace. Is that correct?
It's not a book, it's an article. So.
An article. Okay, well, it's got a table of contents and the works. So, yes. Anyway, I am just so grateful for you to come and tell us a little bit about this because I'm working on a podcast that is called, um, what's my podcast called? Illuminating the Earth Charter on the road to 2030, 2050, and beyond. And so I'm getting a big picture to give to young people about what's happening in the world and how they can be part of the advancing solutions that are coming. And so I would like you to just give me a little summary of this article, and we can go through the table of contents, or I can just listen to you. Which would you rather do?
Um, well, as sort of prepared something in anticipation of this, tried to prepare something last night because I can't talk off the top of my head anymore.
Okay.
That
Okay.
old age does bad things to you. So I thought I could you said you wanted me to go through the table of contents in broad terms. I can do that. I'm going to have to refer to notes if you don't mind.
I do not
Just
mind at all.
prompters. I've not typed anything out. But I thought I could sort of cover the main points, if that suits you. if I hope this works. This is the
I'm
best I
sure
can.
it's perfect. Thank you,
If it
John.
doesn't work, then you can perhaps do something else. But anyway, what I wanted to do start with. Let me put my glasses on. Is to say that I was of the never again generation, which means we didn't want to ever see anything like the World War ever again. And we called ourselves the never again generation. And I had experiences of the war as a child in the United Kingdom. I remember the sirens going. And even today, my stomach crunches up when I hear a siren. I remember the sounds of the bombs dropping, of the anti aircraft guns firing. I remember getting under the kitchen table every night to sleep there because it was the safest place in the house. I remember going out the next day and seeing the houses destroyed and the railway station destroyed. All this was petty stuff compared with what millions of other people experienced, but it was real enough for me as a child. And it brought home to me very much, which I've never forgotten. War is about people, it's not about statistics. Real people suffer. When you hear the news at night and you hear 49 people are being killed, they're real people. They're people like you and I. So, as a child, I joined the United Nations Association. I've been a member of for as God knows how long in the UK and the US. Um, and when I came to America, um, well, I should say, when I met Ruhim and heard about the faith, the great immediate attraction for me was its emphasis on peace, world peace. And I was particularly taken, first of all, by its vision, this concept of spiritual evolution of mankind, running parallel with physical evolution that Darwin talked about. And then the lesser peace, the concept of the lesser peace and the most great peace, and the evolution of world government, the world commonwealth. Um, that was one thing, the vision. And the second thing was that really attracted me was the practical aspect of it, um, giving support for others who were working for the same ends, making proposals and working at the United Nations itself, and most important, working to develop an alternative model. a model of how the world could be, and that is the Baha'i community, and how we're all working hard together to develop ways of an alternative way of running things. And most important aspect of that, of course, is consultation. Consultation is a new way of people working together and is very different from debate, which is the method used in democracy. So it's the vision and the practical aspects that really attract me to the faith. When I came to America, um, I, of course, was interested in the American community, and I was immediately taken by the fact that the faith puts emphasis on the role of America in achieving peace. That prayer for America is the most important, but of course, many other quotations one could use. And let me just quote that one sentence because it's so important. And this is in the prayer for America. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. What a wonderful thing. And this is America's destiny. Um, when I came over here, I was already very, very in love with America. As a child, I knew that America had saved the world in the Second World War. There's no question about it. Under the leadership of Franklin D. Roosevelt, he died on my 11th birthday, April the 12th, 1945. As far as I can recall, that's the only time I cried on my birthday, along with millions of others. So I was very taken with this destiny that is given to it by the faith. And I wanted to start thinking about, I was ruminating, why America? What's so special about America? Of course, immediately most people would say, well, it's a powerful nation, it's a big nation, and so forth. But so are other nations. So is China, so is India, so is Brazil, so is Nigeria. You could go on. There are a lot of very large nations. So clearly, that's not a full explanation. And so I started ruminating about this. And I should say, I was ruminating. These are my own thoughts. I hope inspired by Baha'i teachings, but they're not in the writings. And so I need to make it clear that there's a sort of disclaimer here. I'm not talking about official Baha'i positions, but rather my ruminations on why it may be that America has been chosen, however you want to put it, to be the nation that led the world to the establishment of world peace. And in ruminating about this, there were three things that struck me. Not all of them very popular at this time. The first one is the melting pot. A term is not used very much in the last few years, but there are important aspects of the melting pot that seem to me give America the qualifications to be the leader of the world and establishing world peace. There were three groups of people involved in the melting pot. By far the largest group were the voluntary immigrants coming from all around the world. Probably every country in the world has sent immigrants to this country. The great thing about this is that America has contacts with every country. We're not alone. We're attached, sort of physically, through our population. We're attached to just about every country, and they're attached to us. So that's one aspect of the melting pot. The second large group are the involuntary immigrants. the slaves, the African Americans. And the great thing about their contribution to making this nation a leader in the world is the immense suffering that they've had to put up with. And suffering is how we grow. No one can talk to you about great ideas unless there's suffering involved. And without question, they've suffered. And some expression of that suffering is in their music. And American music is African American music, basically. That's the core of it. And it's what the whole world loves. American music is what the world loves. It comes from our American, African American brothers and sisters. And the last group, they represent about 12% of the population. And then the last and smallest group, but just as important as the other two, are our Native American brothers and sisters, who also have suffered enormously and have grown as a result and helped America to grow. And their major contribution is to help us understand the environment and to be in harmony with the environment, with nature. This is this is their gift to our country and to making our country qualified or starting to be qualified to lead the world in the circumstances we live in today. So the melting pot, that was that. The second thing is federal democracy. Um, Federal democracy is a model for the world. Any future government of the world has to be federal. It can't be unitary. And it has to be one that's free. It can't be autocratic. Clearly, that's not acceptable. The world cannot, the peoples of the world cannot accept it. So it has to be something like a federal democracy, and that's what we have. It's basically incorporated into our constitution. And when we're all very proud of our constitution, that is a big plus. We are proud of our constitution, and we need to continue to be so because it is a model for the world. And we've had 200 years or plus of working that constitution, and it's been hard work. We've been through a lot of tests and are still doing so. And experience is what strengthens our capacity to lead the world. So, experience of running a federal democracy is another very important aspect of America's qualifications for leading the world. The third factor is our religious experience. And it links, of course, with our constitution because we do not have a state religion. And right from the beginning, we've had tolerance of all religions. It's in the First Amendment there. And this is tremendously important because nearly every country until very recently had a state religion. Even my beloved other country, UK, has a state religion. It's the Anglican Church. And most countries do. America was pioneering in this idea of letting all religions thrive and not be tied to the state. This is clearly a requirement when you're setting up a world commonwealth. And it seems to me that is our third sort of great strength, qualifying America to help lead the world. America has achieved a lot in this struggle. They were the main country working for the League of Nations. They established the League of Nations after the First World War. Our President Wilson, sacrificed his career in trying to achieve that. After the Second World War, we were the leaders by far of establishing the United Nations and all the related agencies that supported and do such good work in helping bringing the peoples of the world together. And it was America who basically led the first act of collective security against one country invading another, which was the Korean War. Of course, there has been a dark side, and whenever I talk about the destiny of America outside this country, and sometimes in this country, people cast severe doubt on him and point to all the dark things which we're all familiar with that have happened internally and externally over the last 200 years or so, and particularly recently. My response to that, and I guess I'm paraphrasing the faith in a way, nations are made up of people, and so they act like people. And people, as we all know personally, we are engaged in a daily struggle to grow, to be better, and not succumb to our darker thoughts, or selfishness, or hatreds, and fears, and all those sort of things, and to develop our nobler side and to grow. And this is true of nations too. So the world and America has its dark side, but we have to recognize that it's part of the process of growing. I think there are, and this brings me to the last point on this whole subject, is what do we need to do now? What does America need to do in leading the world? And we have so much good advice coming from the faith, and one of them, and this is, I'm not sure whether it's the most important, but I would certainly put it very, very high. And it's Abdul Baha's advice: look for the one good characteristic, and instead of the 10 bad characteristics. How we could talk with those that we can't talk with now, if only we would do that. And it's an easy thing to do if you put your mind on it. So looking at the one good quality and less so on the 10 bad qualities is one thing we need to do. The second is to have a vision of cooperation, of moving forward, not just responding to day-to-day events, but actively working towards this vision of ultimately world peace and a world commonwealth. A third thing, and it's all part of it really, and it's particularly true of this country, or has been in the past, and that is we have to deal with this issue of extremes of wealth and poverty, which is causing so much division and creates so much low quality for so many people when it's not necessary, when we could do it. And so this brings me to, I guess, the last point I want to make, and it fits directly with the context of all this, talking about the environment and the world temperature and these sort of issues, and that is the need to deal with materialism. Materialism, of course, is a vital part of our lives because this is how we survive physically. But when we go beyond what we need and just accumulate things and it becomes an obsession, then it becomes a barrier. And in order to live in harmony with nature, just as in harmony with the rest of the world, large parts of which are still very poor, we need to focus more on just taking what our needs are and not just accumulating extra stuff that's not necessary and which basically either harms the environment because we're overusing it or depriving other people of the basics of life. So it seems that to me those are some of the things that we should be doing as a nation in our in fulfilling our destiny of leading the world to world peace. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I think that's wonderful.
Maybe
And
that's too long. I'm sorry.
no, it's just perfect. And what the context that I'm putting this into is my own way of asking people to express how they experience, live, hold as a vision. This quotation from the Earth Charter that says, recognize that peace is the wholeness created by right relationships with oneself, other persons, other cultures, other life, Earth, and the larger whole of which all are a part. Says it
Did,
all.
was that you that drafted that, Sue?
No, this is from the Earth Charter.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. I remember now. You
Yes,
asked me whether I had any thoughts on it. That was
yes.
the thing you
And
said you
and I
wanted.
think you just gave them to me.
That's right.
But if you would like to just go through that,
Well, yes. I mean, where I've written something down. Well, I can't find it. Oh, yes. Here we are. Well, my first reaction on reading it is to applaud, of course. Um, that it seems to me it's a very comprehensive, succinct, and clear statement. And I love it. We have to all support that. It's wonderful. The one, if I were pushed, could I just stop for a
of
minute, Sue?
course.
I've got someone here with our air conditioning. Just
Sure,
one
sure,
second.
sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so the snake got into the fan.
Oh,
It
I
was
saw
wrapped-
that snake,
It was
and
wrapped.
he got into the fan.
Yeah.
So did you get rid of it?
Yeah, I got it out.
He's dead, I presume. Yeah.
But he was wrapped around the fan, locking the fan up, so it couldn't spin, and it made the compressor overheat.
Yeah.
So it was all overheated. I got it all cooled off now. It's going to start in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, this should be all it's at. What's wrong with it?
Yeah, isn't that remarkable? I saw the snake by the pool,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, we're going to lose all our fish, because he was just sitting there watching,
Yeah.
watching them. Obviously, he thought this was a good meal ticket,
Yeah.
but he went the wrong way. Well, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, it'll start in 5 minutes. I'm going to go put it all back together. But it's just going to be $100.
Okay. So do I have to?
I can bill you if you like. I can bill you.
Yes. Could you do that?
Yes, sir.
I'm on the video right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you're ready, come up again.
Well, I got to get going. We got more calls. I got to go. But I'll send it to your email, okay?
Okay, and I can just pay them.
However you'd like to pay it.
Very good.
Right, sir.
I really appreciate you coming.
Anytime.
You know,
I know.
we've got our guests coming. They're very special to us,
Yeah.
and they have the best room, and the air conditioning goes.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's always something, but hopefully this is it. And
well, you guys are very good. It's not often I can get someone to come.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah.
You have a good one, sir. You can get back to your.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wipe the sweat over. Oh, these are good guys.
Wonderful.
Okay. Yes. I was sort of struck. I mean, it was evident to me because I've worked in institutions and we work as Baha'is. You often, when you're drafting something that appeals to everyone, you have to make compromises and to get everyone on board. And sometimes that doesn't mean that the words are exactly as you'd like as an individual. And I was struck by the key term, right relations, with all these groups of people or aspects of nature. And that's a good term. It's a very good term. But it seems to me it's a little on the cold side. It's a little legalistic in its way. And I'm not 100% sure it's all that inspiring. It's it's um, it's a good term and it's accurate and precise, but it's not what I would call inspiring. And what we do need is inspiration because what we're trying to achieve, particularly with living in harmony with the nature, is going to be sacrificed. We're going to need people to volunteer to put limits on what they consume and things like that. This is and give up certain things in the collective good. So sacrifice is a factor in this whole process we're involved in. And so the word where sacrifice is accepted easily is the word love. When you talk about love of yourself or of your family or of other peoples or of nature or of the larger whole of which we're all parts, another interesting phrase, um, we are inspired by love to give a mother and a child. That's the most elemental thing. A mother will give everything for her child. And this is, this is what we need. We may need this aspect of it. So um, if I were asked if I wanted to make a change, I would say, can you work the word love into that statement? And
And
of
I can
course,
answer that.
and
I can
of course,
answer that.
that takes
And
to another
and
step.
the response, from the Earth Charter's point of view is, maybe one day the text will be updated because there are certain things that people have objected to and said it could be better this way. And so right now we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Earth Charter. And this is as good a time as any to start revising. But as Sue Blythe, the individual, I can do that because the Earth Charter guidelines for using that document say that you can use these words in any context
Yes,
as long as it maintains the spirit of the document.
yes.
And so I have asked already for my friend Terry Ann Aristotle, who is a 19-year-old theater student at the University of Florida. I've asked her to write a song. She's written several songs for our little collaborative storytelling adventure. And so I said, when we do I actually asked her to make it so we could sing it or she could sing it on the International Day of Peace on September 21st. And that's a big day with my We the World context that this whole storytelling happens in because we're going through 11 days of global unity in September. And the last one is the International Day of Peace. And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that she and her friends at the
Mm.
university will have a version of that uh, statement. Peace is the
That's
wholeness. I love
wonderful.
that
Yeah.
sense of wholeness, of love. And I'll tell you, I just so we can adjust the words for this song is what I'm trying to say. And I was just listening this morning to another uh, way of expressing that comes from an Ojibwe friend up in Minnesota. And she has a puppet that speaks to the children. And this puppet was telling us in a video that I was watching this morning, um, that you take care of what you care for.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lovely way to
Yes.
say it. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll figure it out. And I'm meeting with Terry Ann on Sunday. So we'll work on that and make sure that it gets expressed in that loving way.
Very
Thank you
good.
so
Very good.
much.
You're doing great things. So take my hat off to you.
Well, it's so fun. I've been imagining this day every day. It's just like every day something is, I just say thank you because
Yes.
it's it's just amazing. And the piece that has been driving me um for all these years and is now such a meaningful part of my daily life is this prayer for the southern states. And it's every morning I pray, how can I succeed unless thou assist me with the breath of the Holy Spirit? Help me to triumph by the hosts of thy glorious kingdom, and shower upon me thy confirmations, which alone can change a gnat into an eagle, a drop of water into rivers and seas, and an atom into lights and suns. And I just feel that I'm part of that's happening. And so I feel like I'm definitely playing a role in this transition from the
Yeah.
world of conflict and discord to a world of peace and harmony. And it's so fun and so satisfying, soul satisfying. It just makes me very, very happy.
Yes. We need to focus on this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
wonderful.
and I really want to acknowledge you, John, for the work that you put into that book that you wrote that I helped get ready for pre or republication, and it was the search for a just society.
Yeah.
And the way that you expressed all of this was so well, simple and profound, right? That it's such a clear line that we can draw through history to this moment to the glorious future that we long to see.
Yes.
And the part about the United Nations and the Nobel Peace Prize winners and all of that is now part of my program that I'm presenting to young people in the gardens of global unity where all things are possible in
Yes.
September. So it's really fun to translate what you taught me into something that I can pass on to the next generation. My grandchildren. I have 9 grandchildren, and I'm really doing all this work so that they can grow up in a world that
Yes.
works for all.
No, I'm like you. I'm focused on the kids.
Yeah.
Um, my heart goes out to them because they're facing incredible tests, the small and the big levels.
Yeah.
And but it was um, a Baha'i concept of spiritual evolution that really caught my attention because I was so aware that the teaching of history, as I had experienced it, had been so narrow and remains so in many ways, and the need to teach history from a global perspective, and that's basically what started me on that book. The need somehow to start encouraging people to write history within the global context. I mean, we knew nothing about China when I was a kid, or very little. all we knew is what the Europeans did when they arrived there. We didn't know what a great civilization that was. Same with India. I mean, India. I've just been reading a book by an Indian woman about the relationship between the Brits and the Indians, which has lasted about 300 years. And it's wonderful about how they interacted, and they brought the best out in some ways and then the worst out in each other, and how there was a need to, focus on the one good thing. And it was very, very interesting because I came to realize as a Brit, living as a young person when the empire still existed, um, that all I knew about India was about the exploits of the Brits there. I didn't know about those wonderful civilizations that had gone before, and I felt robbed. All I am grateful for my history teaching is that I had a wonderful history teacher, and he inspired me, and he he was a socialist, and so he taught a lot about the collective needs and that sort of thing. So in a way, it wasn't global, but in another way, it was. So that's how I got interested in history, because of my history teacher. And I guess everyone has similar experiences like that.
What's
Anyway,
popping? Are you able to spend a few more minutes on this?
right now,
Yeah, or you need
um,
to go?
a few minutes, yes. I have to go and look after Roy in a
Oh,
few
sure.
minutes. But to tell me
Um,
what would.
I'll tell you, I want to explain how this collaborative storytelling is working now. I have been working for a couple of years with the Writers Alliance of Gainesville, and we did a call to action to the 200 writers to help to tell Alachua County's bicentennial
Yeah,
climate story. And using postcards, we just put out I think it was about 70 postcards, and said, pick one and write 300 to 500 words. And we got, I think, 13 wonderful stories back. Stories, articles, poems, whatever they were inspired to write. So we're doing that again. And this time we're doing it with the books that these 200 authors have written. And we're inviting the characters in the children's books, especially, to be part of our fictional story that we're telling. Okay. And so I've got two women right now that are doing that. And one of them said that the Magic Carpet Crew, that she's on her third book now, and she said that the characters are going to visit a floating city. And it turns out that all over the world, people are planning and building floating cities so that we don't have to worry about sea level rise. Right? But the one that she sent to me first was they call it Blue Island Estates, and it has many levels of living quarters up to the $1 billion penthouse that's 30 something stories above the ocean, right? And so the characters in her story decide, no, we're not going there. That's just for rich people. And so they chose another island to go to. But that so captivated me that I am imagining now a story where my characters go there, and they go into the international school that is on that floating island, and they work with the young people who then take these ideas that come in from our characters to they take them to their kitchen tables in their own with their families to have conversations. And so I'm inviting these authors, not only of the Writers Alliance, but also of the youth groups that I'm working with, to write 300 to 500 words of the conversation that that family would have around their kitchen table. And that's so exciting to me to be able to put all these concepts in to just the conversation, elevated conversations. Yeah. So that's the
Very
fun
good.
I'm having with this.
Very good, Sue. Very good.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will let you go, and please give my love to Ruhi. And thank you so much for all you've
I hope
done.
this is at least a little bit useful for you.
Oh, it
Oh,
is very, very useful. Yes. And so I'm going to take little bits and clips of what
yeah,
you've said here and put it into a half-hour program that will be broadcast on We the World's social media, YouTube and Facebook and all, on the International Day of Peace. And then the second part is I'm putting it together, and it may be all the same thing, but at my podcast that I'm putting out for this month. And I'm talking about, actually, it'll be this month and next month, because this month, what I'm doing is the promise of world peace and how it affected me, inspired me to do what I'm doing now.
yeah,
And then next month, I will tell about the America's spiritual destiny, because that's the route that we're taking in our collaborative storytelling adventure through this next year. So that by the time we get to July, and the whole world is celebrating America's 250th birthday with
yeah.
the concepts that you expressed. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Very
Isn't
good.
that fun?
Yes, I'll take my hat off to you. I haven't got the energy anymore.
No, of
Um,
course not.
I
And I'm getting it to the point where I can pass it on. And I've told that many times to Terry Ann, who's working closely with me for 6 months, 7 months now, 8 months now. And I'm taking a new role starting in September as a mentor. And I have very strict guidelines on what a mentor does to help the young people develop their leadership skills,
yeah,
and I can offer my ideas. I'm inviting people into our storytelling. They may or may not decide to do that, but it's all teen-led action plans for the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm the mentor for the Climate Action Hub. And so I get to really tell my story and invite people to be part of it as an option, right?
very
So
good.
it's very good. All right. So, John, thank you
Okay,
again. And we'll see you soon, I hope.
okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
See you
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye bye.